guys, the business of makeup part 4 is today's video. I can't believe we are already at the end of 2016, but I have tons more videos for you guys for 2017. So today we're going to be talking about what it means to be a freelancer, what it means to be in the union, and also what it means to be represented by an agency if you're a makeup artist. Now there is a lot of information that's going to be in this video. I've got a coffee handy because I think it might be a long one. So take some notes. What I'm going to do is just sort of briefly talk about each one. I think if I go into depth about each one, it's going to be a lot of information, and I think some of you may not care too much about some of the things I'm going to talk about. If you want more information on anything that I'm going to talk about in today's video, you can always put your questions in the comments. If there's anybody out there that wants to add to what I've talked about in this video, because I'm not going to be able to cover every single thing, you can put your comments in there as well. I'd like for everybody to kind of share their experience with either union or agency or whatever your experience is as a makeup artist. You can put that in the comments below so we have a good resource of information for anybody that watches this video. The first thing that we're going to talk about is what it means to be a freelancer when you're a makeup artist. So most people are probably going to fall under this category, and even though I am represented by an agency, I'm still considered a freelancer. So when you are a freelancer, it means basically that you are not tied or obligated to one specific company, so you're not a full-time employee, so you are a self-employed makeup artist. When you freelance as a makeup artist, this is a pretty tough gig. Anybody who is self-employed knows that it's a lot of work and it's a lot of hustle. So you're responsible for all of your own invoicing, so sending your invoices to your clients. You're responsible for doing your own taxes, logging your expenses, being aware of what you have to pay in terms of your taxes depending on where you live. This responsibility falls on you. You're also responsible for generating leads for your own work, networking, taking care of all your social media. This also means that you have to pay for your own health and dental benefits. That's sort of what it means to be a freelancer. You are completely on your own and responsible for your business as a makeup artist. And when you are a freelancer, you can pretty much do any type of work. Some of you will specialize in bridal makeup. You can do work for personal clients, for proms. You can do fashion shows, commercials, advertising campaigns. Are pretty much unlimited in terms of the type of work that you can do. The only thing you won't be able to do is work on unionized sets for commercials, television, and film, but we will get to that, and I will talk about how you can eventually get to doing those things. But when you're a freelancer, you are a non-union employee, which means that you can work on sets that are non-union as well. So most of you will be considered a freelancer. Some of you may be employed part-time at a beauty counter, and then the rest of your time is spent working on your freelance jobs. So you are your own business, you're in charge of it, you do everything for yourself. If you are a freelancer, you can work towards representation by an agency. So I'm considered a freelancer, but I am signed with an agency that represents other makeup artists and hairstylists in Toronto, but I am still considered a freelancer, so I still am responsible for my own health benefits, taxes, and that type of thing. My agency in Toronto is called Platino Group, and I will actually link to the site below so you can kind of get a better understanding of what I'm talking about. My agency represents other hair and makeup artists, stylists, prop stylists, and we also have a model roster. So the first thing you might want to do if this interests you is check to see, depending on where you live, if there is a good agency that represents makeup artists. When you are represented by an agency, you're basically in a committed relationship with your agents and your agency, meaning that you work with them to help build and develop your career. Your agents can vouch for your skills. They are able to present you to potential clients. So you have this little team of people that's working on your behalf, and this is sort of what happens when you're represented by an agency. Clients who come to the city or clients who are just doing work in the city, if they require a hair and makeup artist and it's a non-union job, they will reach out to different artist agencies. They'll take a look at the portfolios that are presented on the agency website, and they'll choose the appropriate artist for the job. Even though you have representation by an agency, if you don't have a great portfolio, it makes it a little bit more difficult for your agents to do their job. So even though you are signed, this doesn't mean that they just go out and find you work. You still have to work on building and developing your book based on whatever clients you're looking to acquire. So that is generally speaking how an agency works. So you are probably wondering, how do you get represented by an agency? It's not something that is quick and fast and simple. It does take a lot of work. And when I talk about getting represented, I'm speaking from personal experience, and I'm sort of talking about the structure of how my agency works, but each agency is going to have a different way of doing things. Usually what happens is you would approach the agency, so sometimes they will have open calls for makeup artists. So you would go and present your portfolio at an open call, or you may have a great portfolio already and you would reach out to an agency and they would meet with you one-on-one and discuss your book, the types of clients that you have, and the type of work that you want to do. You may also have a demo reel to present if you've worked on television or commercials that you might want to show. The photos that are going to make up your portfolio are going to show a range of your makeup abilities. Very clean makeup looks. If you are in Canadian market, makeup and hair should be shown in your portfolio. You want a good variety of really solid, beautiful makeup looks that are well shot and that feature great models. If you can work with agency represented models, that is what they are looking for in your book. So that's all I'm going to say about that, because I think what agencies need from their artist portfolios may differ in different markets and with different agencies. So that's just sort of a starting point for you guys with your portfolios. From that point on, depending on how developed your book is, you may get signed as an artist on the spot. Likely though, you're sort of going to start at the bottom. You're going to be put on the assistance list, so you will be able to assist and learn from some of the artists who are already signed. We're always looking for great assistants, so it's a great way to get in with an agency and start to develop that relationship. The agents usually are not going to sign you right on the spot because they need to work with you first. They need to make sure you're trustworthy. They need to make sure that you have a good work ethic, you show up on time, that you can handle yourself on set. So these are all things that the agents are going to be looking for before they sign you, and this is why you shouldn't expect to be signed on the spot at an agency. So you start out on the assistance list, which is a great thing to do. It's a great way to get exposure. It's a great way to network and get experience on set. And eventually they will start providing you or approaching you with your own jobs. These jobs will be a smaller scale maybe from what the other artists are doing. But again, it's a great opportunity to build this trust and to build this relationship with your agent. Usually also when you go to the agency websites, you will see a main board, and then you'll also see maybe an emerging artist board or an artist in development board. Now this again might be different for each agency, but eventually you will work towards having your portfolio posted on the emerging artist board. Once your portfolio is developed a little bit more and you have clients that you're regularly maintaining, eventually you will become fully represented on the agency website. So that's just a very, very brief idea of sort of what happens when you approach an agency. Now, some of you might be further on in your careers and you may get signed right away, which is awesome, but a lot of you are going to start from the bottom essentially and work up. But it's all about developing a great relationship with your agent so they get to know you and they get to trust you and they get to see your abilities as a makeup artist. And also you'll find that once you develop great relationships with some of the other makeup artists that are with your agency, you can start working on jobs together. They'll also be able to refer you for certain jobs that they can't do. So it's a great opportunity to grow as an artist, develop your portfolio, and network with other artists as well. The other thing I wanted to quickly talk to you about, if you're just not sure about this, is how it works when you are signed with an agency. What will happen is your client or producer or whoever it is will approach the agency and say, I need a makeup artist for whatever job it is. And they will say, do you have anybody who might work for us? The agency that represents you will submit your portfolio and the portfolio of whoever else they think will be great for the job to the client. The client from there will look at all the portfolios and decide who they want to work with. Once they let your agent know that they want to work with you, your agent will contact you, discuss the job with you. If it's something that you want to take on, you can accept it, kind of have this back and forth dialogue with your booker, and then they would go back to the client and confirm you if you are interested in doing the job. So that's sort of like the workflow of how it works when you're working with an agency. So your agent takes care of all of that communication. You don't speak directly to your client unless there is a meeting that you need to attend or like a pre-production call where you're talking about the makeup and hair direction for whatever shoot it is. But generally speaking, the agent is that buffer between you and the client, which is great. It keeps things really professional and it makes it so you just show up to set, do your job, and go home. You don't have to worry about collecting money and invoicing, and the agent takes care of all of that for you. The type of work that you're going to be doing as a makeup artist, if you are represented by an agency, it differs depending on your location, what your market is, and what your portfolio looks like. So for me personally, I do non-union commercials. I do advertising, e-commerce, not the most glamorous jobs, but it's the type of jobs that exist in the Toronto market. It's how you get regular work. And usually when you have artists represented by an agency, they're going to have different specialties depending again on what the market is. You'll have certain artists that do more celebrity work, certain artists that do more work for fashion week, weeks, or maybe they do on-camera stuff. So each artist is gonna have their specialty. And again, what you do really depends on what your book looks like. Your agent can't promote you for certain jobs if you don't have that sort of stuff in your portfolio. So if you wanna do beauty shoots and beauty campaigns, you need to make sure that you work on having that type of work in your portfolio, or it makes it harder for your agent to sell you to a potential client. The other thing that's great about having an agent is you get access to the network. If the agency has existed for a while, they'll have great connections with photographers, producers, other modeling agencies, so you get access to that network and they can arrange portfolio shoots for you, and this will help develop you as an artist and it helps improve your book. Getting access to that network of people is sometimes a little bit harder to achieve just completely on your own as a freelancer. The other thing that's very important to know if you are getting represented by an agent, you are paying your agent to work for you. So when you are booked for a job, you get a rate. Your agency is going to take a small percentage of that rate as their fee for getting that job for you and for doing all of the processing of that job. So the invoicing, the discussion with the client, pitching you for the job, this is all what's covered in the agent's commission. So every agency, regardless of where you are, is going to take a bit of money for themselves as a commission. So that's how the payment works. So regardless of what your day rate is as a makeup artist, the agency is owed maybe 10, 15, or 20%. Again, it's different for every agency, but they deduct that from your payment as their payment for their services. So a lot of people think that as soon as you sign on that dotted line and you have representation by an agency as a makeup artist, that the work is just gonna come flying in and you're gonna make $1 million. Totally does not work like that, because your agency is gonna also rep other makeup and hair artists. So you still have to make sure that your book is competitive and at a certain level, or clients won't notice you for jobs. So you are still self-managing. You are still having to network and work on your portfolio because you're still competing against other makeup artists. It's not just you that they're representing a whole collective of makeup and hair artists that have a certain set of skills. So the process of building your book and making sure your book stays looking fresh and shows off great makeup that is relevant is really, really important. And even with an agent, this doesn't mean that you're going to be busy 24/7 all the time. The pressure is still on you to create really good relationships and network and represent yourself well. There's still so much that you have to do. You still have to keep up on all of your own social media. You have to be maintaining and creating these great relationships with people that will get you paid work. You're still essentially a freelancer, but you just have this great network of people that your agency is going to expose you to, and you have them vouching for your skills. But without a great portfolio, without new clients, you're eventually gonna run out of work, even when you are assigned with an agency. So keep that in the back of your mind. It is not easy. I'll just speak for myself. It took me 4 years to get on the main board of my agency. So I think from the time I approached my agency to now, where my name appears on the main board with the other makeup artists that my agency reps, it took me 4 years to get to that point. And everybody is going to be different. Signing with the agent is not the fix all, like you've made it. It's a great step in your career and it's a huge accomplishment. And there is a reason why everyone is not repped by an agency. It takes work and it takes time and it takes really great relationship building. So it's not an easy thing to do and it's not in an instant. So please keep that in mind. I don't want you guys to think that the first time you go to an agency, they're gonna sign you right away. That is not how it works. Also, for you, it's important to make sure that you trust the agent that you're signing with. They are gonna be representing you. So you wanna make sure that you trust them and you wanna make sure that they are representing you the best that they can. You might meet with 3 or 4 agencies before you find somebody that you actually really click with and that you trust. I personally was turned down by I think 2 other agencies before I found my current agency. So make sure that you have that trust with whoever you're signing, and don't sign with an agency just for the sake of signing with an agency. Make sure it's the right timing for you and it's the right thing for your career. I don't want to sound too negative about this, but I want to give you guys like a really realistic idea of what it means to go out there and hustle to get signed by an agency. It is quite a long, hard process. You're going to be working a lot of miserable jobs at first. Assisting other artists sometimes is not the most fun, but these are all learning experiences that you need to be a better artist, and you need to work your way up in the agency. So keep that in mind. Don't get too down about it. And if you have more questions about what it means to be repped by an agency or what your portfolio should look like, again, comments box box below and I will try to answer them for you. But that's that on the agency topic for now. All right, the last part of this video, I'm going to talk about what it means to be in the union as a makeup artist for film and television. So if you don't know what that is, if you are watching any sort of like major motion picture, television show, commercial, usually the crew that films these things are all unionized employees. Now, becoming part of the film and television union is quite a long process as well, and it's going to be different depending on where you live. So what I've done is, just to give you a brief idea, I have printed off the requirements for the makeup department for the union that is local to Toronto. So the first thing that you want to do if you're interested in working in the movies or in television is to find the unions that are local to where you live and checking out what the prerequisites are to apply for the union. Now, applying for the union is not a quick process, and it's not like you apply, you're approved, and you're a full union member. There are different requirements for each union for how many hours you have to be on set. I'm going to speak to just the local union here. It's 13 pages of information about applying for the union. This is no joke. So I'm going to read to you a little bit about what is required. Because I am not a unionized makeup artist, I may be missing some things. So if there's anybody out there that is watching this video and there's some information that I have not included that you might think is important, please put it in the comments box below, because there might be someone who's watching this that is interested. And because I'm not a full union member, I may not have all of the information that is important for this video. So please feel free to do that. There's usually this two-step process. And again, just speaking for this union that's local to me, the first process is applying to become a permit. So you don't have full union membership. This part of the application is just so that you can get on set. When you become a unionized member, so you're completely part of the union, you've worked your hours to get your union status, this is sort of the closest thing to a traditional like 9-to-5 job in terms of structure, because the hours are certainly not 9-to-5, but we'll get into that. But what I mean by that is that you get health and dental benefits, your hourly wage is standard, you get overtime, double overtime if you work overtime. When you are working as a freelancer, this may not happen all the time. You may work on a job where the budget is $500 and you are not getting 1 penny of overtime, and that's what you agree to. When you are represented by a union, they are very conscious of hourly wages, going into overtime, because there's also a safety component when you're working on big sets to having tired employees on set. Everything is very legislated in the union, and I won't get into it in great detail. When you do makeup for film and television, the skill set that they require for you to just become a permit is quite lengthy, and I'll just point out a couple things for you. So they require a grade 12 diploma, so high school diploma, and diploma and curriculum from a recognized makeup school. So the types of things that you would learn in makeup school that they require for you to become a permit are, makeup for black and white film and photography, aging with paint, and aging with latex. So what that means is making someone look older with just makeup, or making someone look older with maybe prosthetics, a nose, an ear, or whatever it is that you use. Human hair, beard application, grooming and styling, bald caps, out of kit makeup effects. So out of kit makeup effects means creating a scratch, a wound, something you can create on the fly with products in your kit. I will tell you this, as a freelance makeup artist, because I do work on non-union commercials, I do these types of things on set. Sometimes you need to have someone look like they have a cold if it's a commercial for Tylenol, let's say, or a scratch or a bruise. So these are things freelancers have to do as well, but this is required when you apply to join the union. So some more of the out of kit special effects that they require are wounds, cuts, bullet hole construction, burn skin, stitches, black eyes, dirt applications, so dirty fingers, dirty face. So these are the minimum requirements. There's also something at the bottom that says, if you do not have a diploma, then please submit a 300-word summary detailing self-directed study, which include any workshops, online courses, and books in terms of how you learned your makeup skills application. I will tell you guys this, I do have my permit status for the union in Toronto, but in the middle of that process of me applying to be part of the union, I recognized that that type of work environment and that type of work was not something I was interested in doing. So that's just speaking for me. All right, going through these pages, the other thing you need, 20 days of employment as a professional makeup artist on independent TV, video projects, and commercials. It says here, aesthetics, counter, and wedding experience do not apply. What what they require from you from film and television, it's quite a bit, and there's no fudging or lying about it. You have to have these skills. If you get onto a film set and they need you to do a black eye and you can't do it, you're not going back to that film set or working with the key makeup artist on that film set ever again. So lying on this also is not gonna work. So you have to make sure that you do have the right experience, or else not good for you. Now, we're still talking about just becoming a permit. So just applying for something that allows you to work on set. Work verification letters, a resume, and they do provide a template for the type of resume that they're looking for in this package. Portfolio. The other thing that's interesting that you may want to look at here, or look up on the union website that's your local or in your city, is the minimum kit requirements. So basically what it is you print it out. It's this long list of what they require in a kit. This is a great thing to print out, and I'll try to link to this in the description box so you can see the kit requirement for film and television. I have all the things that I need for a film and television kit because I work on non-union commercial sets sometimes, so I make sure that I have all of these things as well. It's a great list for reference if you are building your kit, but definitely check it out and you kind of get an idea for the types of things that you're going to be needing for certain special effects and just what a general television or film set is going to require of you to have in your kit. So it's a great reference if you are building your kit. It's really impressive to people that you're working with, and it's a great way to start out. There's also health and safety courses, I know, that you have to be able to work on set. This is like real shit, you guys. This is not a joke. When you work on a big film or television set, there is a lot of money at stake. There's lots of things going on. There's also, not done, also a written permittee test, which is required on this sheet here. It's a written test and you have to pass with a minimum of 85%. So then it says here, once you've passed the permittee test and received approval of your application, you can register for set etiquette. So set etiquette is a course that's offered that gives you, and it's usually like 1 or 2 days if I'm not mistaken, and it just gives you all of the information that you need to work on set. I could do a whole other video on that topic. I work on a lot of production sets. There's a lot of things that you have to keep in mind: what to wear, where to stand, who to talk to, when to go in for your touch-ups, certain words and phrases that you need to learn to understand what's going on set. So when they talk about a set etiquette course, that's what they mean. If there is somebody out there that maybe needs more information on this, put it in the comments box below and maybe I can do another video for you guys. I personally think that anybody who is interested in working on any kind of production, whether it's a union or non-union job, should have some knowledge of set etiquette. It's very scary the first time you're on a set because there's a lot of people. It's usually a high pressure situation, and the language that's used on set, if you are not familiar with the terminology, it's gonna be hard for you to do your job really well. Oh, and first aid, you gotta have first aid if you wanna submit your application. So that's that. And now keep in mind, this is just to be approved to be a permit to go on set. To get full union membership, meaning you're a full-on member of the union, you have to have your permit status approved, and then for this union it says to apply for membership, a permit must have a minimum of 60 days, 480 hours worked on the unionized film set. So you've got to have X number of hours to become a permit, and then once you're a permit, you have to work for, in this case, 480 hours to get your full union status. So as I said before, it is not a fast process, but it's a great option for a career as a makeup artist. They've also got a great section in here on do's and don'ts. I think I'm gonna try to link to this for you so you can take a look. I think it's really important for anybody who's gonna be either assisting or working on production sets, or just actually I think working as a makeup artist in general. I think reading this is gonna be very beneficial for you. So even if you aren't interested in film and television, make sure you click on the link that I'm gonna provide so you can kind of understand what it means to work on set. It says be prepared to work anywhere from 8 to 16 hours for a day. You can be called to work all night or anytime during the day, and that happens on non-unionized commercials as well. I just recently worked on a shoot that was 12 hours, so it was quite long. I was outside yesterday for about 9 hours. There's also a section here on appropriate attire. Again, really important to read for any makeup artist that's looking to work on set. Shoes, what shoes you're wearing, you're gonna be standing for a long time, layering clothes, if it rains, if it's cold. So all of this information is actually in this package. That's just a very brief summary of what the process process is to apply to be a unionized makeup artist to work in film and television. So it's quite extensive. There's quite a lot of information in here. But as I said, I will link to this below so you guys can take a look about what the requirements are. And anybody who is watching this that is a makeup artist, whether you're going to be freelance or whether you want to be rep by an agency, you will eventually find yourself probably on a production set. And it would be awesome for you guys to already have this knowledge before you get there, so you're not as terrified when you get there and you understand what's going on. So please check out the link that I'm going to provide just to give you a good education on some of the things that you need to know. So regardless of whether or not you're going to be continuing to freelance and sort of developing your own business and developing your portfolio on your own, or if you want to sign with an agency or become a unionized makeup artist, I hope this is enough information for you guys just to give you a general idea of the direction that you might want to go in. As I mentioned before, please, if you have any more questions about anything that I've talked about, maybe I didn't explain it clear enough, or maybe you just need more information, put your questions or comments right down below. You guys know I read all of them and I will respond. And if there's any other videos that you want to see for the Business of Makeup series, please let me know. This is my last video of 2016, I think. Maybe I'll sneak in one more, but this is probably going to be it. I'm going to have a couple days off, and I hope you guys are going to do the same and relax with your friends and family. And I hope this video was helpful for you to get you kind of set up for a good 2017 if you're working towards a career as being a makeup artist. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. All of the comments, thank you so much for taking the time to ask me questions and request videos. I wish everybody the most success in 2017, so hopefully it'll be a big year for you if you're starting out as a makeup artist. I'll have tons more videos like this on the way. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I appreciate all of the views, all of the requests and comments. Also, just as a side note, if there are any other types of videos that you want to see from me for 2017, put them in the comments box below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video, and I guess I will see you guys next year. Happy New Year, everyone. Bye.